Imagine this, two young college students with nothing more than a wild idea and a beat-up computer lab at Stanford University. They weren't famous, they weren't rich, and they definitely weren't taken seriously at first. But their college project ended up changing the entire world. This is the story of Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the two dreamers who turned a simple research project into the empire we now know as Google. Welcome back to Fuel for Hustlers, the channel where we share stories of ordinary people who built extraordinary empires. If you've ever doubted your own ideas, today's story will remind you that even billion-dollar companies can start from something as small as a dorm room project. Back in the mid-1990s, the internet was still like the Wild West. Millions of web pages existed, but there was no smart way to find the right information. Search engines back then gave clunky results, filled with spam and irrelevant links. For most people, searching the web felt like digging through chaos. But Larry Page, a curious PhD student at Stanford, saw the problem differently. He believed that the web could be organized just like a library, where the most useful sources were highlighted first. His idea was to analyze how web pages were connected to treat links as votes that determined importance. At the same time, Sergey Brin, another brilliant Stanford student with a sharp mathematical mind, was exploring data patterns. When the two met, they didn't immediately become friends. In fact, at first, they debated constantly and argued over ideas. But beneath those arguments was a shared vision. They both wanted to make sense of the messy, growing internet. Together, they started working on Larry's idea in their dorm room, with limited resources and no money. Their tiny room became a battlefield of innovation. Servers stacked on the floor, extension cords running across the walls, secondhand equipment buzzing loudly, and endless nights fueled by coffee, snacks, and determination. Their project was called Backrub because it analyzed the backlinks of websites. The name wasn't flashy, but the results were groundbreaking. Their system was faster, more accurate, and more reliable than anything else available at the time. Eventually, they knew they needed a better name. After some brainstorming, they landed on Googol, inspired by the word Googol, a mathematical term for the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. The name represented their mission to organize the seemingly infinite information of the web. But having a great idea wasn't enough. When they tried to pitch their search engine to existing companies, most people laughed them off. Who would trust two broke students to solve the chaos of the internet? Some companies even told them to sell their technology because they believed search engines would never make money. Imagine if Larry and Sergey had given up right there. But they didn't. They believed in their vision so strongly that they kept building, refining, and pushing forward. Then came a breakthrough moment. Andy Bechtolsheim, a respected Silicon Valley investor, saw a demo of their project. He was so impressed that he wrote them a check for $100,000 on the spot. The problem? Google wasn't even officially a company yet. They had to rush and open a bank account just to cash the check. From that point, things moved quickly. Google's search engine started spreading like wildfire. People loved how clean, simple, and fast it was. While other search engines cluttered their pages with ads and distractions, Google kept it minimal, just a search bar and the answers people wanted. Their motto was clear: focus on the user and everything else will follow. And it worked. Within a few years, Google wasn't just a tool, it became a habit. People stopped saying, search for it, and instead said, Google it. That's when you know you've truly changed the world, when your company becomes a verb in everyday language. And here's the powerful lesson. Larry Page and Sergey Brin didn't have billions of dollars. They didn't have corporate offices, and they didn't have unanimous support. What they had was vision, courage, and the determination to chase an idea that others thought was too crazy. Today, Google is worth over $1 trillion, shaping technology, communication, and the future of humanity. So, what's the takeaway for you? Your idea might look too small or too unrealistic today, but that doesn't mean it can't change the world tomorrow. Every empire starts as a seed, and only those who dare to plant it and nurture it see it grow. This is Fuel for Hustlers, reminding you that the empire you dream of building might just be one bold idea away. Keep hustling, keep believing, and never let doubt stop you, because who knows, the next Google might just come from you.